Hi everybody, this is Justina with JustynaTHandMade. Today I'm gonna present to you my new pattern. This is the Gloria Wristlet. It's really quick sew, and I think those little vinyl accents give the wristlet a nice unique look. But that said, you don't need a lot of vinyl to create this look, and you can complete this project on a domestic machine, no problem. If you are a returning viewer, you already know I sew all my projects on the domestic machine. That's the only sewing machine that I own. So this little wristlet, it's made mostly with waterproof canvas. You can replace the waterproof canvas with any other fabric. Even if you want to, you can make it completely with vinyl. Just keep in mind that it's going to be a little more bulky. Or you can use woven fabric. Just make sure to interface it to give it a little more body. That's why I like to use waterproof canvas, not only because it's easy to clean and it has the waterproof properties, but also because it is already a bit stiff without being bulky. So let's talk about the features of the project. So as you can see, it has a pocket in the front that can easily hold a cell phone. This is a case for my phone because I'm recording this video on the phone, so obviously I can't use actual phone, but it fits easily in this front pocket. That's why this front pocket was designed like that. And then on the back we have another zipper pocket that will hold your keys, your car keys, something that you would like to have a quick access to, but make sure to keep it nice and safe. Inside, it's just one big compartment. For presentation purposes, I'm showing you, this is one of my patterns as well. This is the tiny folded wallet. It's empty because it's just for the presentation, but you can see that a wallet like this that holds at least 8 cards and an ID. It also has a pocket for cash and for change. This wallet will fit inside of this bag, no problem, and you can still you still have a lot of space for some makeup, any other items you would like to have with you when you are on the go. And this wristlet has the wristlet strap. This one I did with webbing tape. I just added some of the same vinyl that I'm using for the accent to give it a nice embellished look. This is something you can do as well. It's nice and easy, and also it's domestic machine friendly. Like I said, this is a new pattern. I'm calling it the Gloria Wristlet. If you like the design and you would like to create your own, follow the link in the description. There will be the link to the pattern directly, so you can grab a copy and sew along with me. I do advise you to watch the full video before you commit to the pattern to make sure that you are comfortable with any techniques I'm using in this video. I personally think this is a confident beginner level project, but like I said, you can watch the video and see if you would be fine with sewing the project before you commit to the pattern. If you are my Facebook group member, keep your eye out for a discount code when the pattern is released. It's gonna be announced in the Facebook group, so if you are seeing this video before you saw the Facebook post, make sure to go back to Facebook, grab the discount code to be able to purchase the pattern with the discount. if you are visiting my channel for the first time, I hope you're gonna enjoy this tutorial and that you're gonna also look at some other videos I already have. I think at this point there's close to 100, so I hope you're gonna find something interesting. There is plenty of videos with free patterns which do not require any purchase or even any email sign up. You can just download the file and enjoy the sew along with me, making your project with the free patterns provided by me. That said, if you do enjoy my channel and my videos, please make sure that you are subscribed, and if you do like it, please leave it a thumbs up. That really helps for the YouTube algorithm to promote my channel, so I will stay motivated to make more videos for you. If you like the video but you are not committed to purchase the pattern just yet, you can also support my small business using the thanks option on YouTube and leave me a little gratitude for making the video. But I welcome everybody, so if you are here because you want to learn some skills and you are not in a position to make any purchases, I'm happy to have you here, and I hope you're gonna enjoy this video and other videos I already have on my channel. And now, if you want to see how this little cute Gloria wristlet comes together, please keep watching. To start our project, we're gonna prep all our pattern pieces and our supplies, and I will run through all of them right now. All of those cuts are listed in a cut list, so you will follow the cut list when it comes to the sizes and any cutting instructions. This part is to illustrate what cuts should be done before we start our project. So for lining, we will have two main lining panels that are interfaced with sew fuse. I'm using woven cotton, that's why I wanted to give it a little more stiffness, but if you are using something that it's that has more body to it, you don't need to interface it. So those are our two main lining panels. Then for lining, we would have two bigger lining pieces, and I did not interface these. That's up to you if you want to do it. I don't think it's necessary. So we have two larger lining pieces for our front pocket, two smaller lining pieces for our back pocket. We have two outer panels cut out of waterproof canvas. For our smaller elements, we have a zipper overlay for the back pocket of our wristlet. We have a smaller zipper overlay for our front pocket. We have our webbing tape. It's a 1-inch webbing tape. It's nylon that I cut for my wristlet strap. I also cut my overlay for my wristlet strap. I want to give it a little embellishment, so you will have that final cut listed in the cut list as well. And also we're gonna have the tab that's gonna be attached to our wristlet to attach the wristlet strap to. And we're gonna cut 3 pieces of zipper number 5 that based on the measurements provided. When it comes to supplies, first of all, I'm going to be using the Gutenberg Mera 70 thread. And here I have my zipper end. So you will need one zipper end, or you can create a zipper end on your own. You can just view some of my previous tutorials, and there are instructions how to make a zipper end with a small piece of vinyl. Then I have 3 zipper pulls, number 5. I have my spring loaded ring that I'm going to be using, and this serves as the clasp, and as the D-ring itself, so I just need one piece of hardware. And I pulled some rivets as well. I may decide to attach a butt tag, or if I'm going to be using them to construct my wristlet strap. So those are all the cuts and supplies needed for the project. I'm obviously going to be sewing it on my domestic Juki machine. So if you are afraid that this is a project that can be only done on the commercial machine, not to worry. All my projects are always sewn on the domestic Juki machine. That's the only machine I own. So to get us started, we gonna first prep our zipper pockets. So you're gonna take your zippers, put the largest on the side, that's our main zipper, and you're gonna take your lining panels. Here you just have to be careful because our large lining panels are actually for the smaller zipper, so just keep that in mind. You're gonna take the larger zipper pocket linings, you're gonna take the smaller zipper tape, and you're gonna place the zipper tape along the shorter edge and clip. Here you want to make sure that the lining panels is the right side up and that the zipper is coil side up. So now that we have it attached to one of the lining panels, we're gonna flip it over. We want to make sure that both lining panels are right sides together, and clip the other edge of the zipper tape along the short edge, making sure that our lining panels align. When that's prepped, we're gonna repeat that with our smaller lining panels. This time we wanna put them in a horizontal position. Again, they are right side up, and I'm gonna take my longer zipper tape and first attach one edge to the longer edge of first lining panel. Still making sure that both my panels are right sides together, I'm gonna open the zipper and align it against the other lining panel longer edge and clip. When you have your both panels prepped like this, you're gonna take them to the machine and you're gonna sew along the edge. Then you're gonna flip it over, making sure that the lining panel is out of the way, and you're gonna sew along the other edge. You're gonna be sewing with the 1/4 of an inch seam allowance and 3.5 stitch length, making sure you are back stitching on the beginning and on the end of your seam. And you're gonna repeat the same thing with the other lining pocket set. So you're gonna sew one side, flip your project over, making sure the sewn part of the pocket is out of the way, and sew along the other edge of the zipper. So take your project to the machine and sew your lining to your zipper tape. Now that we have our lining sewn in, we just want to make sure that it's nice and open, that we have the wrong side of the zipper with the right side of our lining. And our zipper pocket linings are prepped. Now, to get it out of the way, we're gonna prep our wristlet strap. To do that, I'm gonna use some double-sided tape. So I'm gonna place a bit of tape in the middle of my vinyl. And I'm gonna make sure that I have about 1/2 inch overlap on each end of my webbing tape. So I'm gonna center the tape, making sure that I'm leaving a little 1/2 inch overhang. When that's done, I'm gonna flip the ends inside. They don't have to be equal. On the end, you're not gonna see them. What we wanna do, we wanna create this nice covered end of our webbing tape. So now that that's prepped, we're gonna take it to the machine and we're gonna sew along the edges of the vinyl with the 1/8 of an inch seam allowance and 3.5 stitch length, attaching our overlay to the webbing tape. Now that our strap is ready, we can move on to starting our outer panels. So here we're gonna have 2 outer panels cut out of waterproof canvas and 2 zipper overlays. You want to choose how you which panel you want to be on the front and on the back, but if they are identical, it doesn't matter. So you just want to remember the placement of the overlays. So let's start with what I consider the back pocket of the wristlet. You want to make sure you have some point of reference, because you're gonna be placing the overlay 1 inch below the top edge of your wristlet. I'm gonna use some double-sided tape to help me keep the overlay in place. Again, I'm placing it in the middle because I don't want my needle to sew through the tape, which may get my needle sticky. So now I'm gonna center the overlay on the back panel, making sure that it's nice and straight. When that's done, I'm gonna move on to the front panel, and this time we're gonna be placing our overlay this way. So I'm just gonna flip my panel, make sure I have my ruler. And now I'm gonna center my overlay. Making sure it's about 1 inch from the edge. When you have both panels prepped like this, you're gonna take both to the machine and you're gonna sew only along the outside edge of your overlay. And here, something I forgot to mention on the beginning of the video, I cut my overlays and I did something that is totally optional. I embellished the outer edge with the scalloped edge using a scalloped edge pinking shears. That's something you can do as well, or you can skip that. It's very simple. You just use those 10 millimeters pinking shears that I got from Amazon. You just have to search for scalloped pinking shears. So now that we have our overlays affixed to our outer panels, obviously they are affixed to the right side of the outer panels. Now we're gonna sew them on. So we're gonna be sewing along the outer edges here and here with the 1/8 of an inch seam allowance and 3.5 stitch length. Now that we have our overlays sewn, we're gonna cut the opening in our outer panels. They don't have to be pretty, they actually should be a little bigger than the opening in the overlay itself. So don't worry if you can keep a nice clean edge, I definitely won't. Now that we have our openings done, now we're gonna affix our zipper pockets inside. But first we have to insert our zipper pulls. So here, pay attention on how you would like your pocket to open. The back pocket, I usually like to zip from the left to the right, so I'm gonna insert the zipper this way. Those two panels are the same length on purpose. So you can insert the zipper pull from each side or any side, and then decide how you want the zipper pull positions. Just keep that in mind. So I'm gonna work on installing my zipper pulls. If you need a little more instructions on how to insert zipper pulls on the zipper tape, look at the videos in my channel, and there is a detailed video instruction on installation of the zipper pulls on the zipper tape. So now we want to make sure we have the correct lining with the correct outer panel. You're gonna make sure it's nice and open. If you are using a stiffer lining, you can give it a nice press. And now position your lining the way you would like the zipper to work, and place a double-sided tape along the edges. Now I'm gonna remove the backing of the double-sided tape from one of the sides. Take my panel and center the lining inside of the zipper opening. Adjust the layout if needed, but if you are happy with it, just move on to the second edge. And after that's done, we can move to doing the same with the front of our wristlet. And this way I like the zipper to be closing when pulling up, because that's going to be the final layout of our wristlet. So I want the zipper to be pulling from the left to the right. And now that you have both panels prepped like this, you want to make sure that you're going to keep the lining panels open. And you're gonna take your project to the machine and you're gonna sew along the zipper opening, sewing on the zipper and the linings onto your main panel. And you're gonna be sewing with the 1/8 of an inch seam allowance and 3.5 stitch length. Make sure to overlap the stitches so they won't unravel. So sew the zipper onto the front panel, and do the same with the back panel. So sew the zipper along the zipper opening, making sure your lining stays nice and open. Now that we have our pocket sewn in, we're gonna trim our lining panels. So you're gonna take your lining panels, making sure they're aligned, and trim the ends where the panel is longer. Make sure you are cutting only the lining. Don't cut the outer panel by mistake. That's why I'm placing my cutting mat over the outer panel. Now that we have the lining trimmed, we're gonna finish up our pockets. Take some clips and clip the lining edges together. On the lining for the back pocket, we're gonna fold the bottom edge over and we're gonna clip it this way. This open pocket edge gonna serve us as our turning hole, so make sure to do that. Then the pocket on the front of our wristlet, we're gonna clip all the way around. And now that we have both our panels prepped like this, we're gonna take them both to the machine and we're gonna sew the front pocket lining on 3 sides. So we're gonna close it all around, and on the pocket, this is upside down, on the back pocket we're gonna sew only the side edges, leaving this part open for our turning hole. So take your project to the machine and sew the sides of the back pocket and all 3 sides of the front pocket with the 3/8 of an inch seam allowance and 3.5 stitch length, making sure you are keeping the outer panel out of the way. So you may want to sew it from the right side, just making sure you are keeping the outer panel out of the way of your seam. My pockets are now completed. The last thing to prep our outer panel is to attach our loop. I'm not inserting a D-ring because I have the spring loaded ring, but if you need or you're going to be using a D-ring, just make sure you attach it. And I just folded my webbing tape in half, and I'm gonna place it about inch from the top edge, an inch, and I want a 1/2 inch overlap. So this is the placement of my tab. I'm just gonna clip it, and I'm gonna take it to the machine, and I'm gonna base my tab onto my outer panel. And after that, we can move forward to working on our main zipper and the main lining. So take your project to the machine and baste your D-ring or just the tab onto your outer panel with the 1/8 of an inch seam allowance, looking from the edge of the main panel. Now that the tab is attached, we can work on attaching our main zipper, main closure. So I have my zipper tape. I'm gonna square off one pair of the zipper ends. You can do that and you can baste it with the machine or even hand stitch to keep it in place. I like to use the lighter, but just be careful, don't burn your fingers. When that's done, we're gonna place the zipper coil side down on our front panel. You wanna be about 1/2 inch from the edge. On the tail end, we're gonna measure 1 inch from the edge and mark it with a pin. And this is the point where we're gonna slip our zipper while we are basting it on. So you wanna make sure that you have your zipper about 1/2 inch from the left edge, and that you have a 1 inch mark on the tail end on the right side, and you're gonna pull the tail down while you're basting the zipper so it's not sewn in all the way through the edge. So take your panel to the machine and baste the zipper on, slipping the tail with the 1/8 of an inch seam allowance and 3.5 stitch length. Now that the zipper is basted to the front panel, we're gonna attach it to the back panel, and you want to make sure that your panels are right sides together. So you're gonna align your zipper with the edge and secure the panel and the zipper together. And again, you're gonna measure 1 inch from the edge and mark it with pin. And this is where you're gonna slip your tail this time around, because we wanna make sure that our panels are right sides together. And so it has to be a mirror layout. So our panels are right sides together. The zipper is a coil side up when we open the project, and we have our panels aligned on the sides. So now that we have that done, take the project to the machine and baste the zipper onto the back panel, again making sure you are slipping the tail so it's not sewn in all the way through. Now that we have our zipper sewn into both panels, now we can split it. And now we're gonna work on attaching our lining. So take one of the panels and one of the main lining panels and place them right sides together and clip along the edge with the zipper. Here, make sure that the zipper tail stays out of the way. And repeat that with the second panel, so make sure they are both right sides together. and clip along the edge with the zipper. And when you have the panels prepped like this, you're gonna take the project back to the machine and you're gonna sew along those two edges with the 1/4 of an inch seam allowance and 3.5 stitch length, making sure you are back stitching on the beginning and on the end of your seam, and that your zipper tails stay out of the way of the seam, so they gonna be not attached all the way through with our top seam. Now that we have our zipper sewn in, we're gonna top stitch our panels, and you're gonna keep the lining upwards. You just gonna fold the seam allowance underneath the main panel. So fold the seam allowance so the zipper is placed in the up position and the seam allowance is behind the outer panel, keeping the lining open. Repeat that on the other panel. You can finger press it like I'm doing, or you can go to the ironing board and use iron. Just be careful because we have the vinyl accents, so make sure you're not gonna iron over the vinyl to damage it, because yeah, that's gonna be a lot of work that you will have to move backwards to fix that. I have my seam allowances finger pressed, so now I'm gonna take my projects back to the machine, and again making sure my seam allowance behind my main panel. I'm gonna top stitch along this edge with the 1/8 of an inch seam allowance and 3.5 stitch length, making sure my zipper tail stays out of the way of the seam and that my lining is nice and open. So take both to the machine and top stitch along the zipper seam to set the zipper placement in place. So now we have our seams top stitched, and that sets the zipper layout nicely in place. So now we are really close to finishing up our project. Now we're gonna put our outers and our linings together. So place your project right sides together, making sure you are aligning the place where the seam is meeting with the lining. Make sure you are aligning the place where the outer is meeting with the lining and that your zipper is in the same position. If you have to shift your project a little bit so the seams don't align perfectly on the side, that's fine. Just make sure that your zipper is aligned and that your top edges of the outer fabric are aligning. Do the same on the back end. And now continue clipping the project all around, making sure your pocket linings are out of the way of the seams. see my outer panels are not completely equal, but this little difference, it's fine. I rather have a nice top edge than a perfectly aligned bottoms, because I can fix that with the seam allowance, and it's gonna be within the seam allowance anyway, so I'm totally fine with that. So make sure you are paying attention to the aligning of the top parts of the outer panel and not the bottom, because the bottom won't be visible, but you're gonna see the difference on the top. So now we're gonna clip our lining together. And when you have your project prep like this, again, you want to make sure that your pockets will stay out of the way of the seam. If you have a zipper that doesn't slide easily, just make sure that the back pocket is open so we can turn our project right side out. I just opened the pocket. So now that we have all of it prepped, you're gonna take the project to the machine and you're gonna sew the outer and the lining all the way around. I like to start with the top edge, so I make sure this part is aligned and I sew that part, and then I like to come back and do the same on the other side, because those two places are the important parts. So make sure that your top edge is aligned and sew the outers together on the side. Then you can come back, sew the bottom, and sew the lining all the way around. And we're gonna be sewing with the 3/8 of an inch seam allowance and 3.5 stitch length. You can increase the seam allowance on the lining a little bit so it fits more snugly inside of your wristlet. Now the project is sewn all the way around, and now you can just turn it right side out, or you can give it a tiny box corners. I like to do that because it gives the wristlet a little more depth, plus you don't gonna have those really tough to push out corners. So I'm literally gonna make like the smallest box corners possible, which gonna be 1/4 of the inch. Obviously when we add our seam allowance, they're gonna be bigger, and I'm measuring from the seam line, not from the edge of the fabric. I'm gonna do the same on the lining. I'm gonna cut them out. Make sure you are not cutting the lining of your pockets. And box those corners. Now that we have our corners prepped, we're gonna take them to the machine and we're gonna sew all corners with the 1/8 of an inch seam allowance and 3.5 stitch length, making sure we are back stitching well on the beginning and on the end of the seam. And as you can see, I made sure I'm folding the bottom seams in the same direction on both corners. So just make sure you're paying attention to it, because if you fold the seam opposite directions, then the seam it's not gonna lie flat. You're gonna have a seam that's gonna stand up when you turn your project right side up. Now that we have our corners boxed, and I did a very small seam allowance so I don't have to trim it. If you did something bigger, you may want to consider trimming it. But now it's time to turn our project right side out. So I'm using the opening in the back pocket to do that. My zipper tails are not sewn in, so that's the first success. Give the project once over, making sure everything is looking good, that your zipper is not sewn in, that everything is looking nice and pretty the way you would like it. And if you are happy with how everything is looking, now we can close the opening in the pocket. So pull on the raw edges, because we folded them up, they should fold inside, and clip. When you have your pocket prepped, take the project to the machine and sew along the bottom edge with the 1/8 or 1/16 of an inch seam allowance to close the opening, and then just insert the pocket back inside of the project. Now that my lining of the back pocket is completed, I gave the project a nice press. I press from the inside of the project, so I do not touch my vinyl with the iron, and doing so it also irons my waterproof canvas, so it's nice and smooth and gives a nice set fold for my lining. So now that all of it is done, I'm gonna insert my final zipper pull on my zipper and attach the zipper end. I want to make sure that my zipper meets in the front, so I'm gonna align that. I'm gonna check if my front looks nice and equal. I think this one is a little bigger, so I have to fix my zipper. I think it looks good now. So now I'm gonna install my zipper end. Here you can leave the zipper as long as you like. I like it shorter, so I'm gonna cut it to about 1 inch. Now that our zipper end is installed, the last thing to do for us is to put our strap together. To do that, if you are using clasps, just make sure you're gonna put your clasp on before you put it together, but I can slip my own afterwards. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna fold the end, cover my ends, and create a loop. So I'm placing my ends together, making sure my overlay looks nice, and I'm gonna secure it with rivets, making sure I have a nice loop to loop my hardware on. Now that my wristlet strap is done, I'm gonna attach my back tag. I actually like it to attach it on the end. First of all, because I can see how it looks like with the finished product, but also I like to secure the lining with my rivets, and they look pretty on the inside as well as on the outside. So I'm gonna place it in the middle of my bag, use some double-sided tape to keep it in place while I'm installing it with rivets. And now my project is completed. The project is now completed. We have our Gloria wristlet done. We have the front pocket that is nice and long, so it can easily accommodate a cell phone. This is cell phone case for an iPhone 12 Pro, so not the smallest on the market, and I think a bigger cell phone can fit easily as well. On the back we have our nice private pocket for keys and stuff that we would like to keep nice and secure, and in the middle we have a nice roomy inside for a wallet, for a credit card holder, for any makeup, touch-up items that you would like to have with you when you are on the go. If you would like to create your own Gloria wristlet, please make sure to grab a copy of the pattern from the link posted in the description of the video. You can visit the whole store. You can also just review all the patterns that are already available in my store. The link to the store is posted as well. And maybe if you find something that you like even more. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure that you are a subscriber to the channel and that you give the video a like. That really helps YouTube algorithm to promote my channel, so I would greatly appreciate that. Also, if you have any friends that you think would enjoy my videos, please make sure to let them know that my channel exists. Till the next time.